So yeah, let's take a look and see what LiesofP review from IGN is all about.
Can you hear me?
You know that we've entered a new era in the increasingly crowded Souls-like arms race when we're now turning classic children's stories into dark, twisted Bloodborne pseudo-sequels. But hey, here we are. Yes, LiesofP is yet another game inspired by the unforgiving From Software masterpieces that have captured the hearts of so many, myself included. But it's also an undeniably impressive standout amid a sea of games chasing the Souls-like trend. It does suffer from some uneven difficulty and overly linear level design, but its impressive story, extremely well-tuned combat, and memorable areas and boss fights means that this isn't one you should miss out on if there's a Bloodborne-shaped hole in your life. It's fair to say that sometimes LiesofP emulates its inspiration so closely it feels like someone else is pulling its strings a little too forcefully, but that puppet show is still a whole lot of fun to join in.
Well, let me just first of all say that, going back to the demo as well, one of the things I really enjoyed about LiesofP was just like the aesthetically pleasing world. It's so beautiful, it's so well made, like it's so pretty. And I like that combination between prettiness or like the aesthetics of a world and like the dark play style. I think that just makes a game so much more, enticing and exciting. So this was one of the first things that really caught my eye. And of course, it's supposed to be a very interesting story, but yeah, that's my first impressions.
Both praise and criticism to say that LiesofP follows the blueprint pioneered by From Software down
Just
to the
look at this
finest
world.
detail, with precious few deviations. Just look at the UI and menus. And doesn't this look like Bloodborne?
Alright, so let me just comment on the thing when they're talking about the menu. I mean, obviously it's a Souls-like game, right? So why would they change something that people are familiar with? There's always like a fine balance between reinventing the wheel and coming and making something familiar. Because, at the end of the day, you have a Souls-like genre, you know what works and what doesn't work, right? So the whole goal of it is like, how do you make your own unique twist on it? And it's not going to be in the menu, and it's not going to be in like the outlay, the overlay, which is going to be, oh my god, like this is the groundbreaking Souls-like experience. No, it's the actual gameplay experience. It's the story. It's the way you're being captivated. That's what really is going to be your unique factor in the game. So I wouldn't emphasize this as much, in a negative way as IGN does here.
Combat is, of course, a methodical dance of attacks and parries designed with difficulty in mind. And it sticks so close to the script that it got to the point where I'd meet a seemingly friendly character and think, ah, this is the one who's going to betray me later, with full confidence that I was spot on in that assessment.
That's a cool looking boss.
There's even a major boss with the same name and rough appearance as a Dark Souls boss, which is honestly just kinda hilarious.
Alright, I mean, like, that's...
One of the ways it does set itself apart, though, is with its story, which is a dark reimagining of Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio. You know, the story about a mischievous
Bingo,
puppet known for
Dorabar,
telling
thanks for the
falsehoods
follow.
and longing
Truly
to
appreciate
become
it,
a
and
real
thanks
boy.
for stopping by the stream.
LiesofP's version takes a lot of gory and depressing liberty in its version of the classic tale, but it's got some nice nods to its inspiration. There are these untrustworthy mammals, plus a neat mechanic where you have to choose to tell lies or the truth. That'll have an impact on the outcome of your story.
See, this is another thing that is so great about LiesofP, is that, again, we're talking about mechanics that are gonna make this unique in the Souls-like genre. It's like, okay, you have a factor of being able to, tell lies, obviously, kind of ironically fitting with the whole LiesofP, but it's just, that's an add-on to what's already working in the Souls-like genre. And that's the thing that makes this game so interesting for me. It's like those little things, you know, the details matters at the end of the day.
Oh, and the soundtrack is outstanding. Get a load of this.
Just want you step when we dance, when we hear, when we feel alright.
That said, this style of game isn't no
I remember as well, like going in the lobby when I was playing the demo, and when I collected the first song, and I was like just playing that on repeat in the lobby. I was like, I can just stand here just listening to this, you know, for hours and hours. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just make the most out of the demo and actually play it, you know. But it's such a great music. It's a big part of the Souls-like experience, in my opinion.
known for having the most comprehensible stories, and LiesofP isn't wholly an exception to that rule, but it does try harder than most. There's a whole bunch of dialogue and cutscenes that kept my interest throughout my first 30-hour run. In fact, of all the distressing and enigmatic stories I've seen in this genre, this is definitely among my favorites. It's got some interesting twists and turns, and a few memorable characters too.
Genius never rests, except for beauty rest.
As you'd expect, you'll split your time hacking your way through levels where practically everything in sight wants to kill you, and taking on much more formidable bosses. And LiesofP largely nails both of those genre pillars.
Okay.
The city of Krat is memorable and dystopian, while also continuously reminding you that you're playing out an iconic fairy tale about puppets. It comes complete with your cricket sidekick Gemini and your puppet-making father Geppetto, who always reminds you to be a good boy right before he sends you on missions to butcher everyone in your path.
The irony.
The frenzied puppets that have seized City Hall.
You'll visit the poison swamp level that every Souls-like is legally required to include, and this exhibition hall with hopeful depictions of a future that clearly didn't work out quite as planned. Each is thoroughly enjoyable to stab your way through. Another item on the checklist is some memorable and usually disgusting boss fights, and LiesofP's got those in spades.
Jeez, look at that.
I won't show you
That's
anything
great.
spoilery, I promise, but they're always enjoyable, even though they're all pretty straightforward encounters where you whittle down a health bar. It would have been nice to have one or two encounters where they mix things up with a puzzle or trick you've got to figure out to best your
No, no, no. You don't want to add, like, puzzles to, like, a boss fight. Come on, IGN. You know better than that in, like, Souls-like. Imagine you just... You're fighting against Melania in Elden Ring, and you'd be like, huh, what is a puzzle I have to solve as well to her waterfall dance? Sounds like a good idea. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. And considering the comments as well in this video, I think most people agree with that.
opponent. Those are always my favorite. For better or worse, much of LiesofP's combat draws clear inspiration from Bloodborne specifically, with a couple minor tweaks. You can't restore health lost from direct attacks by striking back at your enemies like in Bloodborne, but you are given the ability to partially block some of that incoming damage, then counter to restore the chip damage you absorbed. The result is a similar meta, where aggressive gameplay is encouraged. That keeps fights moving along at a quick pace, but it also discourages more defensive playstyles, which tend to be my go-to in Souls-likes. Even so, this feisty combat is extremely fun, balanced, and well-tuned. But you're definitely boxed into playing in a specific way. Playing as a ranged magic user from Dark Souls is a no-go here.
Yeah, but that's not their angle, though.
Another idea borrowed from Bloodborne is that your melee weapon is assigned to your right hand, while your left is reserved for a utility weapon. This one turns your robotic left arm into a Winter Soldier-esque tool of destruction, and that ends up being a pretty darn clever take on that mechanic. You might decide to close gaps quickly with the quick and effective puppet string,
Bit of a Sekiro
or
vibe.
blow up deranged puppets from afar like this.
That's cool.
Or my personal favorite, block incoming attacks and dish out damage in kind with a fiery explosion that triggers when they hit your shield. It's especially cool that each of these tools can be upgraded with additional effects. Check this out. But it's the new stuff, namely the complete...
Vingador, thanks first of all for your message. Appreciate it. I know it's always nice, kind of lurking in the back. So appreciate it a lot that you're actually, activating in the chat. Um, Unfortunately, I won't be able to play today. I didn't pre-order like the exclusive edition, so I will be playing on Tuesday on when it release officially. I have it on GameStop, or not GameStop, but Game Pass. So I'm gonna be playing it on Tuesday. I'll do a stream though for sure. I know you're probably gonna be watching someone else from the beginning, but if you want to stop by as well on Tuesday, feel free to do so. I will be streaming it from them. But yeah, as you're saying, the game looks wonderful. Are you gonna be playing it as well? Do you have it today, or what's your plan?
Awesome weapon crafting system that really lets LiesofP distinguish itself within a very crowded genre. Have you ever wanted to attach a giant saw blade to a rapier's handle so you could jab with it like you're fencing? Well, it's probably not advisable at all, but knock yourself out. How about attaching Mjolnir's hammer to the end of a rusty pipe? Go for it, man.
That's
You
pretty
do
cool.
you. With dozens of possible combinations, you're given quite a bit of freedom to make some silly or surprisingly effective stuff, as certain stats and abilities from your chosen hilt and blade combine for a unique combat experience. It's a bit of a shame, though, that the best weapons available are legendary tools that can't be disassembled and reforged into new weapons, and many of these are so much more powerful than anything you can build that you're sort of disincentivized from actually engaging with the crafting system the longer you play.
Yeah, let me. You will be here to watch. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the deluxe edition so I could play it today. But regardless, I'll play it on the 19th as well as you. So you're saying you're from PS? Like, do you refer? What do you mean? Like Pacific time or a specific place, just so I make sure I get it right. Yeah, I mean, like, probably some good people that have the opportunity to play today. I'm doing, like, I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of Lords of the Fallen instead, kind of like my choice there. Oh, PlayStation. Well, there you go. I'm like, oh, I'm from, yeah, got it. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, PlayStation. Yeah, that's probably gonna be a good choice as well. I saw like the reviews they're doing there was looking pretty nice. I'm gonna play this on PC myself. I did the demo there, so looks pretty good. The world is amazing, and yeah. So let's continue a little bit on the strings here, but.
Of course, the main thing.
Salty Luigi card, is this the official waiting room? I mean, like, to a certain degree. I wish. No, I mean, like, I think, we're all here just, coming in, joining, appreciating the LiesofP reviews that are coming in and the different kind of content, and just exciting for Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, thanks for the follow, Chainsaw Man. Appreciate you for being here, and means a lot to me that you're following. And thanks for the chat. A lot of new people coming in saying hello. Means a lot to me. This is I'll stream it 100% on the 19th. Don't worry about it. Give me a follow. There's no doubt about it. I will be streaming it on the 19th. So there you go. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, like I said, we're just here, watching some reviews, analyzing. I'm gonna be looking into, will you be human or truth or a puppet of lies? Oh, good question. I think I have to be a puppet of lies. I have to lie my way through it. I think in the demo as well, I was always kind of lying. And and yeah, just I think it will be interesting to see how the story plays out, of course. But I think it would be a puppet of lies. What about you guys? Excited to hear your thoughts as well while we keep watching the review here.
thing that defines any good Souls-like is how soul-crushingly difficult it is, and LiesofP has mixed success in this regard. On one hand, nearly all of the world exploration where I
Give
was
it to me,
fighting
Chainsaw.
run-of-the-mill evil puppets and gross monsters was disappointingly easy, to the point where death was a rare occurrence throughout my playthroughs. The same can be said of most boss fights, which Souls veterans can expect to beat without breaking too much of a sweat. They're usually big, slow, and stupid creatures who are easily confused when you move behind or underneath them, and they telegraph all their attacks like they're in the WWE. But then I didn't
Telegraph their attacks like they're in the WWE. That's pretty funny though. I think that's a bit of an insult though to the game. To be fair, I mean, when we were like in the demo, we were fighting about like 4 or 5 bosses. To be fair, I mean, like I would say pretty much only the first one was quite easy. The other ones, you had to kind of like learn the attacks, kind of understand it. Um, and yes, I think that's a bit of an insult to the bosses, and looks like there's a lot. Let me see what it's saying here, Chainsaw. What if by the end give you a choice to be human and find happiness, or to be a puppet who is the king of all puppets? That's an interesting theory. I mean, I think at the end of the day, though, as far as I understand them, right, it's multiple endings that is possible in the game, right? So it's very heavily acted on those kind of decisions that you make in the game. So I think as far as the Pinocchio story goes, your goal is to become the human, right? And I think that's probably might be, how can I say, perhaps the natural or like the original ending that they're maybe going for. But yeah, I mean, like I think could be interesting to see if you play your decisions very puppeteer like, it could be interesting to see where that falls, where that ends up, Chainsaw, for sure. Interesting theory. I like it. Keep that up.
counter the occasional showdown where the difficulty spiked up dramatically without warning, and I died 20 or 30 agonizing deaths on a single boss, leaving me to wonder if I just wasn't properly leveled or something, which was never the case. I just needed to get good. Those specific bosses stand in such stark contrast to the much milder exploration sections that it can be quite jarring, and I often felt like the levels preceding a tough boss didn't properly
that's a good
prepare
point,
me for
Salty.
that gauntlet. Most likely, my skills probably atrophied during the stretch of mostly undemanding skirmishes in
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, Salty, I think you're right there, right? It's just at the end of the day, if you're unsure about it, I would just as well just wait until like the game comes out. Watch some people play it. Make up your own opinion. It's always good to kind of see what other people are saying, but you have to take these companies kind of with a grain of salt. Definitely have to be a bit more skeptical on the reviews, and especially now there's so much review bombing review bombing going out too. So yeah, but I mean, like I said, I'll be playing it on Tuesday, so feel free to watch here, and if there's someone that are playing it before, which I'm sure they're gonna be, if they order like the deluxe, maybe take a look at them too, just see what the vibe is like, and if you think this is a great opportunity and a great game, just test it out. No death run? Oh. I mean, I'll definitely have like my death counter there for sure. I made like a special one for the demo, so I'm gonna have that up as well. Proto Nemesis, yo-ho! Good to see you here. And Chainsaw, if they go buy us the opposition to end that backstabbing fox, I'll end him. you might get a deluxe edition for the early access. Yeah, why not? If you have the money for it and you think it's a great choice, why not? Shane says, well, to end that backstabbing fox, I'll end him. Hey, you do you, man. If that's what you have to do, do it. All right, let's wrap up this review. First of all, let me just say, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate the activity in the chat and just stopping by. More people like it. I'm a pretty new channel, so I just appreciate you guys coming by, being active and following as well. So just thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Between the dramatically more difficult boss fights. LiesofP has also inherited some of the clunky roots of the genre along with its strengths. Among other things, there were a few times where I phased through the environment in a weird way, and enemies have a weird habit of just despawning right in front of me like they were fading away.
No, I
during
never
the
played
season
Persona.
finale of a long-running high school TV drama.
The irony here.
Thankfully, none of these issues were particularly widespread, so they're unlikely to drag down an otherwise perfectly enjoyable adventure, especially since performance is otherwise rock solid. I maintained a perfectly stable frame rate at every point, which definitely isn't a given in this genre.
Yeah, that was the thing that I noticed as well when I was doing like the demo was how well the frame rates were, and like just the consistency in the quality of the game, considering it was also like a demo and it was pretty early as well. It was like, I don't remember exactly but it was one of the earliest time that they released the demo, because they kept the demo up for quite long. But I remember too, like I'm playing it on like high quality as well, and I only have like 1660 super GTX card, so it's not like I have like any crazy setup or anything. And considering like just the visual quality and the frame rates that were there, I mean I'm super impressed. And yeah, as you're saying, Salty, it's a rare thing these days that it's been a lot of hard focus on releasing a game where like just the quality of the frames, the quality of the game is really smooth. So fingers crossed they're gonna have a very successful launch. But demo looked amazing, and the world looks amazing.
Might not branch out particularly far from its Souls-like inspiration, but like a marionette controlled by a skilled puppet master, it plays the part extremely well in a wonderfully dark fantasy world. It must be said that its uneven difficulty didn't always make me feel like an underdog, especially when playing as a brawny, overpowered version of Pinocchio with a massive weapon. And combat pigeonholed me into a specific playstyle, while the levels are less open and twisting than most. But with an awesome weapon crafting system, some really memorable boss fights, and one of the better stories we've seen in the genre,
Such a
I
cool
can
looking boss.
enthusiastically recommend you spend your time hanging out with Geppetto and friends. If you've been waiting for a Bloodborne remaster or sequel that may never come, LiesofP is the next best thing. For more, check out our reviews of Starfield and Trine 5: A Clockwork Conspiracy. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Well, overall, I mean, like, the review is pretty solid. I think some of the things that they're bringing up is a bit, I hate that they have to just do, like, the whole, like, Bloodborne 2, like, it's just, look what they copied from Bloodborne 2. It's a Souls-like game. It's gonna be stuff that is gonna be similar. They're not reinventing the Souls-like wheel. They're making their own spin on it, and I'm very excited about this game.